Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel Tutor Things. Today in this video we are going to see 30 plus SQL interview questions which can be seen in any of the interviews in nowadays. So basically to understand SQL, before going into the questions, we'll see what is meant by SQL. So understanding this thing before getting into questions is very important, right? So it's basically a command based programming language which is used to manage relational databases. So and also it is mainly used in nowadays technologies like data analytics and software development and business operations. We can see this in so many fields in nowadays. It's become as an asset for many job roles in tech industries, we can say, because in real time there are so many numerous number of websites, like so for that website will daily generates billions and millions of data. So for storing that data and to for managing data and for to get different outputs from data which can help their businesses, and data analytics can be done by using this SQL. So knowing this SQL is very much important in nowadays, and we call it as a valuable asset for many tech job roles. So in any interview which is maybe java developer or python developer or any developer, if you are in a full stack mode, then you should know about back end, like how data is managing, how data is getting saved in database and everything. SQL plays a major important role in those things. So let's understand what is meant by SQL here. Basically, which is structured query language, which is widely accepted language for communicating between the relational database. That is the one main definition we have with SQL. Let's get started with the SQL query questions asked in many of the interviews. So let's see each and every one. The first question which an interviewer may ask is, what is SQL? To understand how good you know about SQL and how you will answer that particular type of question. To test your knowledge, he will ask you this particular kind of definition, which is a basic definition of SQL. So some people tell SQL is a sequel, so that is not the correct answer. And or someone say like full form, they will tell and just keep quiet. So that two things are not up to mark. So if you are asked this type of question, you should elaborate your answer. So SQL is nothing but the full form of this is the acronym of structured query language. It is a language which is based upon queries. So it is called as query language, structured query language. The structured query language and command based programming or programming language, which is used to manipulate and manage data in relational databases. If you are with relational databases, this particular language will help you to communicate with the databases or connect with the databases to modify or create and retrieve data. We use SQL. So in terms of create modified ways, nothing but creating tables and views, inserting and updating data, and selecting specific data from the tables. So all these things we can do by using this SQL. So like this we have to answer for this particular type of question. And see the next question, what is meant by primary key and how it is important in database. So this question will be asked. So any of the SQL interview will definitely will have one question in primary key or maybe the foreign key. So they will ask sometimes the difference between these two things also. So you should definitely know about these two things before getting into the SQL interview. So this plays a crucial role in databases because with these primary keys only will establish the connection between tables and maintain uniqueness in the table data and likewise. So let's see what is primary key and how it is important in database. This basically primary key is one kind of thing which serves as a unique identifier in table. For example, if you are in a class, some X student you are, so another student also having the X name, how teacher uniquely identifies you based upon your roll number, right? So like that also in table we have the same kind of rows. So to maintain the uniqueness between those two rows, we use a one key, that is an ID key, that is a primary key. To maintain the unique identifier in table for each row, we use this primary key, and this plays a crucial component in databases. Okay, it will also ensure you the efficient data, like retrieval. When you are retrieving data, for example, if a teacher is calling that particular X student, which are having two students in the same class, then how efficient the student will respond. Like the student may got confused which student the teacher is calling, like this. So to retrieval of data, we use primary key to efficient retrieval. So if you're calling this particular ID data, then that particular ID data only retrieved. So like that it will ensure you the quality of retrieval or efficient data retrieval. So these things we can add well in the definition of primary key. And it also prevent the duplicate entries, integrate data integrated by preventing the duplicate entries. If your one id record is already inserted, then it will not allow you to create so same id record. So that will ensure you the data integrity by preventing the duplicate entries. You can add this advantage of having primary key in the definition, so that interviewer got to know that you have good knowledge on SQL concepts like this. So okay. And why it is important database? Because you should maintain that uniqueness, right, to simplify your complex queries, and for making database maintenance easier, like no duplication will be there, and then data management will be easy, and data retrieval will be more efficient. So in case of large number of databases or large data, so if you use these kind of things, that will make your work easier. So like this advantages you can include when you are asked about important of this in a database. And next we have third question is like what is foreign key? This question also very important in most of the interview. We can see this, and how it is different from primary key. It is asking the difference between primary key also. Here for definition of foreign key, we should tell that like it's a constraint, because it will restrict the data from getting stored in the primary key, because it will not allow the data which is breaking the linkage between these two tables. Basically foreign key is a key which is used to create a relation between two tables. Like this will act as a uh, one key in any table, or one or more keys in a table, called as a foreign key, which that refers to the primary key of another table. If you are mapping one table with another table, for example, if you have an employee table and then we have a department table, okay. So when you have employee and department table, if you are trying to maintain a relation between these two tables, we have to use id primary key or id of employee id as primary key in one employee table, and then whatever the department table we have here, that also we have one column called as employee id. We should map that as a foreign key, so that it will make a connection between these two tables, employee and department. You know, right, about foreign key concept. When the interviewer asks, you should tell that definition format, like it refers to the primary key of another table. And it is also called as a constraint, because that will establish the link between the two tables in a relational databases. So that way it will maintain the referral integrity of the tables. And how it is, and one more question they have asked in the question is how it is different from primary key. So when they're asked this type of question, you should tell that whenever primary key is there, it doesn't have the unique keys, like doesn't have the duplicate entries, right? If one record is there, one id record is there as an employee id, then it will not accept again having one id employee as a record. So it will maintain uniqueness in the primary key. When it comes to foreign key, so foreign key can be not unique. Like if you're having one id, can be in any employee, can be commander in any department. So there will be no need of uniqueness in the foreign key. So this is the one main difference we have in primary key and foreign key. So just refer this point. It differs from a primary key that it doesn't have a unique, so it doesn't have to be unique, and it can be established relation between the tables. So like this we can answer. Next we have one more question, like what is the difference between left join and right join? This is a very simple question. If you are aware of joins, if you're not aware of joins, then it will be very tough question for you. So know about joins before answering this question. So left join is nothing but one kind of thing where you will have two tables. Left joining is, if you consider this a left table and this is a right table, left join means left table fully comes, and then the matching rows from the right table also. Even if there is no match from the left table, it will give the entries, like it will preserve the left table. So no matter what, if there is matching records or not. When it comes to right join, what we can say is right table fully comes, and even if there is a matching, it's the left table, right? Right table fully comes, and the matching rows between that left table will fully come, and the right rows matching records from the left table will come. So like if you are good with vendor diagrams in these drawings, you can definitely answer this type of questions. Like here, see how they have written. um, yeah, the definition here in this website is somewhat different. If you are okay with your own definition, then you can go with that. So basically you understood, right? If there is the two tables, the left side table, when the keyword is like in the SQL query we have join keyword, right? So before join, left side they are telling like that in the definition, left side table are included in the result set. So whatever the result set, left table will be included if there is no matching records in the table on the right side. Even in the total matching records, left side table will be included as a result set. In the right join also, right side table will come as a result set even if there is no matching in the left table. So even if there is no matching, the right table will come entirely. So like that, the definition of left join and right join will come up. So I will draw the diagram once again. If it is a left table, then a left table, whatever the table which is on the left as a join keyword will come, right table this will come, even if there is no matching records from the no matching data in the left table, it will give the entire table. So this is how left join and right join would work. And next question they are asking is, how do you retrieve all the data from the customer table in SQL? We know, right? By using select keyword, we select the records, and to retrieve all the records, no need of give the column details. We should give the star with the symbol that will tell you like all records you have to retrieve from the date table. So select star from customers will give you the response what you are asking for, like all records from the customers table. So this is about the fifth question. Next we have sixth question is, what is a subquery and how it is used in SQL? Subquery is a thing like subquery. The name itself tells you the subquery is a query that is embedded within another query. In one query, if you have another query, then it is called as a subquery. Okay, embedded within the another query, it retrieves data used in the main query as a filter or condition. If you want to filter that particular record, then we can use this as subquery. Or if you want to add any condition to your query, then you can use this subquery concept. It retrieves data in the main query based upon this subquery. So subquery can be used in the select statement, and sometimes in the where clause, and sometimes in the from. So after from keyword and after select keyword, after where clause also we can use this subquery concept. Can be used in three ways. But when the interviewer asks normally and how it is used, you can just tell them by using the syntax like selecting column 1 and column 2 from table 1, where column 3 in. Just in the case of condition, we can apply this subquery like select column 3 from table where, and having some other condition as a subquery. So like this we can give the normal syntax for using subquery in where clause. So mainly we use as a filter condition by using the subquery in the where clause, or otherwise you can also use in the select, after select keyword, after from. So like this also. So this is all about subquery concept. What is the difference between SQL's where and having clause? The most important question which can be seen in interviews are where and having clause. Mainly interviewer ask this type of questions, like differences questions will be there mostly in the interviews. So for this question you have to answer is, where clause is used to filter rows based upon the condition on a column. So how you can, based upon a column, if you want to apply condition, we use where clause. Whereas having clause is used to filter groups based upon aggregate functions. So when you are using with when you are grouping the particular columns by using group clause, at that time group function will comes with aggregate functions, right? So if you want to group by using the aggregate functions, then at that time if you want to apply any condition, at that time we have to use having clause. So where clause is applied before any grouping takes place and filters individually rows based upon the condition. On the other hand, having clause can be applied to the grouping and filter groups based upon the result of aggregate functions such as count. So when you are having aggregate functions, so to apply condition on grouping kind of things and filter values, we go with having clause. So this is the difference between where and having. You should answer it in a clear way. Now what's the difference between a function and a stored procedure? I told you, right? So difference between questions will be asked most frequently in any of the interviews. So here we can see the function and stored procedure differences they are asking. So for this question you have to tell, like you have to just take two or more differences to answer this particular question. Basically a function, any normally in SQL or any programming language, just function is a one kind of thing which returns a value. Like a stored procedure doesn't necessarily return a value, but comes to stored procedure can return a value or not return a value, or give a table valued return type or everything. Stored procedure doesn't necessarily give return a value and may execute a series of operation or tasks. So stored procedure can have series of operations or tasks, but no need to return a value, or sometimes it can return a value. So this is the one difference about return value. And one more difference which we can have is, SQL can be used as a part of functions can be used as a part of SQL statements or expression to return a value. So functions, if you want to use that in anywhere, you can also use that in SQL statements, whereas stored procedure can be used as a encapsulate a series of SQL statements. So stored procedure is a collection of SQL statements. It can not be used in any of the function likewise. So it's an encapsulate of series of SQL statements and can be executed as a single unit. We can't call stored procedure from functions, but we can call functions from a stored procedure. This is the one of the difference we can tell us. Additionally, you can add some more differences which you are aware of. Functions can be used within the stored procedure, but stored procedure cannot be used within, as I said, right? So from functions, we can't call stored procedures, but from stored procedures we can call functions. Cannot be used within a functions. So in functions we cannot have stored procedures, but in stored procedures we can have functions. And one more difference we can add, it is, in stored procedures we can have like error management, try and catch blocks and those things, whereas in functions we can't have. Functions is a set of SQL statements which can perform. In functions we can just select operations only we can do, where it is in functions only select operations we can do. When it comes to stored procedures, we can add, create, delete and update and everything we can do. So you can just collect the two or more differences, or maybe 3 plus differences, then it will be good for answering this type of difference between questions, and we are good to go with another question, right? So if you have any doubts regarding these things, you can let me know in the comment section. We'll definitely clear your comments there. And next, they are asking about to write a SQL query to find the second highest salary from an employee table. So this particular question we can see in so many different interviews, or some tests also we can see this type of question. And they have given some data like assume having an employee table, and they have given employee table having an ID int type as a primary key, and next name as a varchar of 255 and not null as a constraint. So primary key is also here constraint, not only is a constraint. Salary and not having any constraint. Salary is a int type. So this data they have given about table, and they have inserted some records, 5 records in the table. So the table will look like this, and then they are asking to select their second highest salary from that record. So for this particular question, what we can do is, so subquery concept we can use here. So firstly, we in the subquery, what I am doing is, I'm just retrieving the maximum salary. They want second highest salary, right? But I want to take the highest salary. So highest salary, how we can get is by using aggregate function, which is as a max. So max of salary, so highest salary first I am getting, so select max of salary from employees. So first salary I have got. So I want second least highest salary, right? So again I want to get the maximum salary, so which is bit less than whatever the previous salary which I have, uh, that thing. So maximum salary which is bit less than the first maximum salary, that is nothing but second highest salary, right? So like that, I'm using that logic. So select max of salary as a highest salary from employees, where the salary should be less than the maximum salary. So maximum salary what we have here is a 15,000. So that will come here as, ultimately this will give the responses of 15,000, sorry, yeah, 150,000, uh, which is called as, here we'll get the result here. So which is less than this, means the second highest salary will get 10,000. So sorry, 1 lakh here. So 1 lakh answer we are getting here. So 15 lakhs and 1 lakh salary. So this is how the second highest salary can be retrieved by using this simple query, by using subquery concept. So hope you have cleared this example, right? So like this also we can do, or we can use top keyword to get this many higher salaries likewise. So that thing also you can use. So now with this much is enough for answering this particular question. If interviewer ask this type of queries, make it simple. If you go with a complex one, then it will not give that good impression before interviewer, because if it is time confusing and time consuming and you are getting confused, then it will affect you only. If you are clear with whatever query, you can go with it. Even if it is a simple query, the quickness is most important in front of the interviewer. And next, what is the purpose of an index in SQL and how does it works? So index concept you should aware before going into SQL interview, because some of the interviewers may ask questions on indexes also and how it is work they are asking. So basically index is one of kind of thing which we can generally see in indexes in books, right? So in books we have indexes, or some documents we have indexes in the front page likewise. So here also in tables we have indexes which serves the same service, right, which is used to improve the performance of queries by allowing us to faster data retrieval in textbooks also. In also if you want to go to such a particular chapter, first you will see the index. So this is in from this page to this page. By seeing that, you will directly go to that page and data retrieval will be faster. So same here also, if you are using indexes to a particular query, then it will help you to allowing you to faster data retrieval by using indexes. It creates a separate data structure that stores the values of one or more columns and allows data faster to the data table on those values. So it will create a indexes are of different types, like clustered index and unclustered index, non-clustered index. So based it will for example, if you have an id, so that id it will show in another physical space. So that id is mapped to some address, so that if you are calling that particular thing, that will go to that address and particular fetch that data only. So like that we can do the data retrieval faster. So just tell the definition like this. It creates a data it's a created separate data structure that allows the values of one or more columns, uh, and allow faster access to the data based upon those values. So one or more columns they will take and store it in another physical space. If they want to retrieve, so just go to that particular id and then retrieve that data. That makes the data retrieval faster. So this is how indexes use it and how it works. So next question we are asking is, what is NoSQL and SQL? So NoSQL, SQL. So as you said, like while we were starting definition of SQL, we have relational databases and then non-relational databases will also there. So SQL is one kind of language which is used with relational data models or relational databases. So when it comes to non-relational databases, which is not in a tables format or in like that, we use NoSQL. So SQL is vertical scaling is more common, like we are storing data in a vertical scaling concept. Here in NoSQL it supports horizontal scaling. It is a structured data. When it comes to table format structure, schemas will be there, fixed schemas will be the schema based. Schema is nothing but in the form of rows and columns, or column rows, this will be there. A table structure will be there. So this is how SQL is defined. So like this, vertical scaling and structured data, fixed schema based, and these things in SQL. In comes to NoSQL, it's a non-relational database model, supports horizontal scaling and handles large unstructured data which is not structured, is in form of JSON data. So in the form of files it will store. Or flexible structure, no, not a fixed schema structure, there is no certain rows or columns kind of thing, no kind of thing. And schema less, there is no schema. So all these things is seen in NoSQL. So this is the main difference between SQL and NoSQL. So you have to answer some differences like 4 or 5 to answer this particular question. The next question we have is, what is write a SQL query to find the names of an employee who have not been assigned to any project. They're asking to write some queries. Let's see the data what they have given. They have given one table employee and they have inserted some 4 records, and table will look like this. And then we have one more table called as a projects table, which has a primary key id, and then foreign key which is having mapping to the primary id as a this primary key from other table. And they have inserted some records in that table also. um, these these many records are in the project id, and these are the employee ids. Let's see the query which they are asking about. They're asking the query like, write a query to find the names of the employees who has not been assigned to any project. So whose id is not employee id is not present in any project. So whose employee is not mapped to any project, they are asking about that. So employee name they are asking, so we have to take from that employees table. So select star, so sorry, select employees dot employee name from employees. And next we have to join those two tables, right? First we should what join we have to use, we should understand. So before join keyword, what the table we have is employee table, and then we have project table. We should know about employees, right? Left join, so employees table or everything should come which are not mapped in projects. So employees table everything we are getting, not mapped in projects means these I will draw you correctly. This particular thing we have to come. So project id should not be there, so which are not mapped, these people only not mapped to project, right? So that means left join this table entirely comes on what condition, the id should be same, right? So you have to add this condition like on employees id is equal to project or employee id. So this thing is a condition on which we are joining these two tables. So every id should be there in that, and then we have to get these particular things, so which are having sorry which ids is null. So in project table whose employees ids is null, we have to get that. So this particular data, so a project employee id is null. So here we not having any project employee id, this null, this data will come. So this is how we have to write a SQL query whose project is not having in employees. So employee dot employee id is null, so that name we have to write, that is Mohan. So here employees everyone is mapped, one mapped, two mapped, and three is mapped. So only one who haven't mapped is fourth one, that is Mohan. Normally by seeing the table also we can say they are asking to write SQL query, right? So we have to write first left join and then where. So whose employee id is not present in projects table, they want that records. This is because employee Mohan haven't been assigned to any project, there is no corresponding rows in the project table, and their respective employee IDs, the rest has been assigned at least one project, so they aren't included in the output. So at least one project is there, they are not included. Not having even one project which is employee id is null in projects table, so that Mohan has an output. So this is how we have to write a query. And next one more query they are asking, like in students table the marks column contains a list of values separated by commas. How we can determine the number of values in this operate comma list? So in the students table they are having the marks, so 89 72 marks are all as listed as a separated by commas. They're asking like how can you determine the number of values in a comma separated list, how you can identify how many number of values we have. So for that what you have to write a SQL query is, so select id name marks and length of marks we want to see. So length of marks we have to get from that we have to minus the whenever we have comma, so we have to add empty space. So we have to remove commas first of all. So we have to remove commas first of all, and then um, replaces with empty spaces. So how many empty spaces we have to remove that from marks, so that we'll get the length of the marks. Okay, so length of the marks will get plus 1 as number of marks from student where id is equal to 1. So they will tell you the how many number of marks will have there. See once, so length of marks it will give you like how many length is there, like numbers. It will calculate the commas also. So before replacing, right? So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 11 will be the length of marks, and then it is replacing commas with empty spaces, right? So empty spaces it will not calculate. So now we have four numbers like 4 2s 8, sorry, four commas will be there, right? Okay, replacing with empty spaces. Here there is no comma, right? 6. Six digits of lengths are there, so it will remove that. 8 digits are there. So it will give you answer as 4. So check out this one if you have any confusion. So 12 minus we'll get 8, so we'll get answer as 4. So this is how we'll get the mark. Sorry, 11, I think. 11, I got length as 11. 11 minus, when we replace with that, we'll get 6, right? So 11 minus 6 will get 4. Sorry, stop correct. Yeah, here we have length of marks means 4 numbers. 4 to 8 plus 3 commas, so 8 plus 3 we have 11. 11 as length of marks, and minus length of commas are replaced with empty spaces, so there is no commas, and only digits we have is 8 digits we have. So 11 minus 8 will be the thing. So 11 minus 8, and next plus 1 is there. So 11 minus 8 will be 3 plus 1, so number of marks we have 4. So this is the how we have to write SQL query from student where id is 1. So id 1 student, comma separated. So first we have to remove the commas, and then we have to find the length of the commas which we have, and then we have to remove that from the actual length, so that we'll get the number of marks we have. So this is how we have to write this SQL type of query. And next we have 14th question is, what is the difference between cross join and natural join? Cross join is one kind of thing which is called as a Cartesian product of two tables. So which meaning like each and every row in the first table is combined with every row of second table. We know cross join definition that we can say like each and every row is mapped to the every row of second table. And whereas natural join is normal join, like regular join, like based upon the columns with the same names, producing as a result set as one column for each pair of the same named columns. If there is a match, they will give a join, so like the natural join will be there. So syntax you can mention like select star from table. Cross join keyword we use in for natural join, we use natural join keyword. So join condition is like each and every row with comments with every other row in a second table. When it comes to natural join, joins the two table based upon the columns with the same name. So like that, some two or more difference you can combine. You can tell as a difference between cross join and natural join. Just check out this website. I will give the link in the description if you have any doubts. The next question they are asking is, list the different types of relation in SQLs. So we have different types of relations, like a one-to-one relation, which is nothing but if you have two tables have a common attribute, then and the second table contains additional information about the first table, then we can go for one-to-one mapping, as you have done in the previous example, like student and employee, or sorry, employee department table or projects we have done, right? So one-to-one relationship, student with a student ID card. So this is one relationship. And next we have one-to-many relationship, or we can call it as 1:n relationship, where first table can be mapped to so many, one thing will be goes to so many, like table can be associated with multiple records in the second table, but each record in the second table is associated with only one record in the first table. So this is how one to many will happen. And next we have many to one. So this thing also happen like n to one. So this is the inverse of one to many, right? With the opposite of one to many. In this type relation, one each record in second table can be associated with each record in the second table, and can be associated with multiple records. So but each record in the first table is associated with only one record in the second table. This is used with multiple records in the second table related to one record in the first table. So you can see the diagram. So like this relation will be happen when you are dealing with large amount of data. These particular relations will come. When you are dealing with small confined or limited data, then no need to go with these many kind of relationships. So n to n, many to many relationship will be all there. In this type of relationship, one database can be connected to so many databases, and then so many tables, or so many tables will be connected to the one table, or many to many, some connection will be there. So this student will have source, student codes will be there, and some codes is from another table. So two more tables is coming and associate with the one table, and that will communicate to the many. So like this, many to many relationship will be there. So these are the four types of relationship: one to one, one to many, many to one, and many to many. You have to answer accordingly. Next, one more question we have is what are tables and fields. So to answer this question, so you can make it limited, so no need to give with extra information. Whatever you know you can just tell. Tables are nothing but is a collection of data, right, organized in the form of rows and columns. So that is a table. So for example, we have customers tables, orders tables, and employee tables, which have different columns, IDs, and everything. And next, in structured the schema we called as a table. Okay. Next, fields is nothing but as we call it as entities, like fields we called as like IDs or columns or attributes, a single information stored in a table. So like that, each field is named as a specific data type, such as text or number, or these data types will be there for a particular field. If you're having any customer tables, for example, if you have IDs like customer name, address, phone number, and email, all these things. So these IDs will called as a property, such as maximum length will be there, and default value. Like by using constraints also we can define fields. So this is not null field, or not null constraint should be added to that field, or it's a primary key, or this is a foreign key, or this should have a default value. This, if no values are added in that field, this comes as a default value. So like that we can add constraints also to a fields. Whatever you know about fields, you can discuss with the interviewer, like you can let them know like you have known these particular things. Likewise, tables, for example, customer table, orders table, product table, employees table, whereas fields, IDs, names will be there. So together with tables and fields, we call it as a basic building block of relational tables. We call it as table, providing flexible way to store information, manage or write SQL queries in an organized fashion. By help of these two, we can create tables and you can store data into that. So next question we have is what is difference between SQL statements like delete and truncate. The most important question we can tell it as we can give double star for this question. So interviewers definitely ask this type of question, delete and truncate, and also sometimes ask drop on truncate, or delete and drop. Difference between these three things we have to remember every time. So delete is one kind of thing where we can write SQL query by using delete keyword. If you want to delete a particular or specific condition or specific row, so if you want to delete any specific row, we go with the delete kind of thing. Or if you want to delete the schema, sorry, to delete all the rows from a table, then we go for truncate. So which is one of the kind of for use it for alternating the tables we use along with the alter keyword. So next, when it comes to delete, it doesn't reset the auto increment values. So auto increment values will be there, right? For example, if you're using identity for a primary key, if you delete any specific row, it will not reset the increment values, it will let it be the same. So when it goes to truncate, it resets the auto incremented values to the storing value, so it will reset that values. Okay. So next, when it comes to transactions, like delete can be rolled back within a transaction. If you are deleting anything, if you're having any error, you can roll back those changes, whereas it comes to truncate, you cannot roll those transactions and everything. And logging each row can be slower for larger tables. It logs like each row deletion we can be slower the functionalities. And it doesn't log it doesn't log individual row deletion, but it can be faster for large tables. When you are deleting each individual row, it will be log everything, right? So it will take time. So if you are doing this truncate for deleting, it will go faster. So request to delete privilege on the table, request drop and create privileges on the table. So these things will be the differences between truncate and delete. The next question they will ask is about how should data be structured to support join operations in one to many relationship. So this is nothing but they are asking like to elaborate the one to many relationship, how they are joining and everything. Just go through this particular databases, it will take lengthy of time if I want to explain. Just one to many relationship is nothing but by using foreign key and primary key concept, we just attach to this, just adding primary key and foreign key firstly, and then you have to write this particular SQL queries just to add just to give you left join. So you are taking customer IDs, customer names, and table IDs and table name from customers table, left join on table orders table based upon the ID which we have. So you will get data like this: customer one to many, sorry, one to one relationship, I think they are asking about. So this is how we can do one to many relationships, sorry. So yeah, foreign key can be of many, right? So in foreign key you can see one customer can have different types of orders, right? So it comes to one to many. So you can see customer one is their name Pallavi Triwari and order out 101. So order date and amount will be there. So same customer one having the different order, that is 102 order is also under customer ID 1. So this is one to many. So one customer is having two different orders, so same ID. So this is how one to many connection will be there. By using this SQL query you can establish that connection or result set. So this is all about the query they have asked. Next, what is transaction in SQL and why it is important? So when it comes to SQL transaction, so basic concept of SQL transaction is it will consider a set of blocks or set of statements as a single unit. So whenever this particular set of statements or single unit qualifies, then it will do a commit, or otherwise it can be rollback. We have that option, right? So it will consider the set of SQL statement as a single unit. Everything goes well, then it will do the operations, or otherwise it will mark it as a failure. So this thing, and if you want to answer it in an elaborate form, just go through the statement points which they have given. So if any error occurs during the transaction, all changes made to the database are rolled back if any data, and the database is restored to its original state before the transaction starts. So the importance of transaction is maintaining the consistency, reliability, and integrity of data in the databases. Ensure the database is always in the valid state, and it will let you know that database is in the valid states or not, and data is not lost or corrupted due to the errors or system failures. So it will give you good reliability, and it will help you from unexpected errors and everything. Also provides mechanism for concurrent access of data, allowing multiple users to access the database simultaneously without interfering with each other's work. So if you were two or more people are working in the database, it will allows you to work in a concurrent access. Okay, is a backbone of many business critical applications and systems for ensuring the database changes are proceeded reliably and consistently, which is very useful kind of concept in SQL. Transaction is very useful kind of thing. And what is ETL in SQL? So this question cannot be asked in normal interviews, but if you are with the data science related concepts or big data, those kind of ETL is most important concept there, which is nothing but extract, transport, and load. So if you are from that field, just go through this particular thing, like how we are extracting and how they are transporting and how we are loading. So you can give a brief introduction about these things, so that it will be good enough to go with that. So interview will got impressed with your answer. What are the types of SQL joins? As we discussed about already, left join, right join. Just see the other joins here. Inner join has no right. From two tables it will give the matching records. So this will be the matching records it will give. Left join, it will give the left table irrespective of matching or not matching. Right records will give right join. So here we have vendor diagrams already, so no need to draw. Here you can see left join is the left table will come, right join left table will come, inner join is the mixed table will come, full join is nothing but all the tables, like left join plus right join is nothing but the resultant of full outer join. And next, cross join we have as a Cartesian product. Each and every row will have all the rows mapped, right? Next, what are aggregate functions and scalar functions? So as we know, aggregate functions is nothing but a group. We can be used with group class. So if you want to group any data based upon the functions, anything, we go with aggregate functions. Like we have aggregate functions like last, maximum, average, or sum, or minimum, first, and count. So all these are the what are the aggregate functions we have. So all these are the list here. And we have scalar functions also. So just know the definition of aggregate function is nothing but a calculation on a set of values and return a single value representing a summary of that set. It will return a single value. When it comes to a scalar, it operates on a single value, also return a single value. They manipulate the data in different ways, as performing string operations, date calculations, or mathematical calculations. This is typically used with group by class, whereas scalar function no need of group by and everything. Generally like scalar operations it will perform, like concatenate and data add or absolute value. So like this scalar values it will give, so round, now, format, uppercase, lowercase, mid value and length. So these are the scalar functions which you have in SQL. So these are the things we can answer, like be even examples, so that interviewer got impressed by your answers, so that he will know that you have worked on that and you know much about those things. It will give good impression on you. Next we have list of they're asking about list different types of indexes in SQL. As I told when I'm discussing about index definition previously, so there will be two different kind of indexes, mostly like clustered index and non-clustered index, and then unique index and composite index, full text index, spatial index. So no need to mention everything. So just when you are asked about different types of index, just give the definition for clustered and non-clustered, or sometimes we can call it as a composite index also, which comes under clustered index only, non-clustered index only. So and just see like just say the definition like which you are know already aware of, like make it clear instead of getting confused. So just a cluster index is nothing but it will organize the data. For example, if you are not giving any index to a database, it will defaultly a cluster index, like based upon id it will sort the data, right? For sorting and storing the data in the database based upon the values of the clustered index, we use this cluster index. The queries that filters or sort by these volumes are performed faster since they can utilize a physical order of data. So there will be a physical order of data within a table. If you use this indexes, it will determine the physical order of the data in the table to make it a efficient way to retrieve or storing and everything. So if you are saving data like for example, if you have inserted record 1, it will give id 1. So if you are again adding the data of fifth record, so it will store it in the fifth place. If you are adding after fifth record, if you are adding second record, it will give you the second place only. Like physical storing of data can be uh, taken place by this clustered index. Like indexes will be in the format, right? So it will ensure that that particular data stores in the table in a correct format. Organize the data or not, it will see, it will make it in a organized form, that since it can utilize a physical order of the data. So this is meant by clustered index. By that physical order, it will make you the retrieving process easily. So when it comes to not cluster index, doesn't take the physical order of the table. It will, what it will do means it will create different separate structure to store a copy of indexes and pointers to the corresponding data in the table. It allows you the faster retrieval of specific rows and columns of the rows, and make the less efficient than clustered index for storing operations. So how it will happen means I will draw you one format. Like for example, this is one table, we have an ids, and it will take another physical storage for that ids, and here row address will be there. If you are calling in that particular id, this row address will be referred and it will go to that physical address. This is not clustered index. When it comes to clustered index, so every data is in the order format only. Here in this particular only it will create an index. So if you want to retrieve data, it will go in this here only. So in comes to non-clustered index, it will have another separate structure for storing IDs. Based upon that, it will refer to the address and then come into the physical address of the table and then retrieve the data from that particular table. So here you can see their lookups will be two. Here they will check in this table and then again go to the physical address. That will be somewhat less efficient when compared to clustered index. So clustered index can be only one on one column. Column can be anything, but clustered index for one table will be one. So for one table you can have more clustered index, more than one non-clustered index also we can have. So this is the clustered index and non-clustered index. So next question we will have is, what is difference between a clustered and non-clustered index? In the table format they have given, like I told you, right? Physical order of data will be there in cluster index, a separate structure that contains index key and the pointer to the database. As I said, right, so first table will be the normal table and second table will have physical addresses, so that it will refers to that particular table. And next we have what differences is and next we have is only one cluster index per table, as I said. Multiple non-cluster indexes can be possible for one table, and data retrieval is faster for large set of data. Data retrieval is slower because we have to look up in two tables, right? So next contains the actual data, doesn't contains the actual data. We determines the order of data on the table. It will be searching for the data. Cluster index are unique for by default. As I said, if the no table having any indexes, it will consider the table as a clustered index by default. Primary key as a cluster index key, and non-cluster index can be unique or non-unique, can be unique key or other key also can be used as non-clustered indexes. And next, this may cause more overhead for updates. This will cause less overhead. Tables with cluster index requires defragmentation because we have to defragment that. So in non-cluster index we no need to deformat that particular thing. Next question they will ask is, what are the different types of normalization? In normalization we have different types like first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, and we have special forms also like B, C and F, and fourth normal form, fifth normal form. So no need to understand all this normal form. Basically 1 to 3 and this B and C is most important. So first normal form is very simple, like it doesn't it cannot be broken into further. We have to manage like that. It also eliminates the duplicate rows from a table. Ensure the data in each table columns is auto. This one you have to mention. It's not be atomic, like for example 1 comma 2 comma. We should not give like for one column name we should not have data like this comma separate name. Everything should have in a different table. Column 1, column 2, second data, the so like this not should be atomic. So this is first normalization. You should use this word case atomic. And next we have in second normalization it should eliminate the partial dependency. You should not have partial dependencies, and a non-key value in the table dependent on the entire primary key rather than on its part. So any value should not be have a entire dependent on the primary key. So partial dependencies we should not have. So we should eliminate this kind of partial dependencies. In the third normalization form we should eliminate the transitive dependencies. So A, P, T. So atomic should be in the one first normalization, and second normalization no eliminates the partial dependencies. In the third normalization you should eliminate the transitive dependencies. You should not have transitive dependencies. Transitive dependency is nothing but each non-key column in a table should be dependent only on the primary key but not any other key. So it should not depend on any other key, it should depend only on the primary key only. So next we have BNC, which is a normalization extends to the third normalization only, which ensures that each determinant in a table is a candidate key. So everything should have a candidate key, which is not a dependent on any other key but should be a primary key. So these are the normalizations in SQL we have. So we can just remember atomic, APT, no partial dependencies, no transitive dependencies, no atomic atomic type of thing. So this is all about normalization. Next we have one more question, right? So B and C they are asking, we should define that like normalization third one, so which is an improvement of that. We can explain it in a clear fashion. Next, what's the difference between join and a subquery? As we have already understood, if you have knowledge just refer to these points. Syntax will be there and purpose why we use joins, and then usage how we will do querying based upon multiple tables, querying based upon condition. So return table multiple table values is a result set, single table will be there, right? So complex syntax will be there. This is subquery is less simple syntax. So everything you know about that thing you can mention. And next, what are some standard clauses used with the select queries? So select queries, what are the standard clauses we use? Or all clauses we have to explain, like with where clause we have write a specific condition, and order by clause will be there. If you want to sort is default sorting will be descending order. If you want to ascending order you can use a keyword. And next with where clause we can, if you are using aggregate function we can use group by also. And next we can with group by everywhere if you want to add any condition we'll having clause will be there along with group by. And next we have one more function clause called as limit. If you want to limit up to only 3 records or 2 records we can limit that thing. And these are the clauses which comes with the where class. And next, how to get a unique records from a table without using distinct keywords. Without using distinct keywords, if you want to get unique records, how you can do that? So To get the unique records from table without using distinct keyword, you can use group by clause. So group by clause with aggregate functions like count or sum or average, you can do that particular kind of thing. So you can see, if you want to get the unique records from a sales table, unique product record, unique products I want to get from a sales table, from sales table product, group by product. So if you want to group by product, so it will give you the unique records. There is no duplication, it will give only once, that will group all the things. And if you write count star, then it will tell you the count, how many times that particular product is repeated likewise. So this is all about and you can also use some aggregate function also. Instead of group by clause, we can use this also to get the unique records without using distinct keyword. So like this you can answer. And 30th question is, display the monthly salaries of an employee given annual salary. So displaying the monthly salary, you can see id, name and salary, annual salary divided with 12 as monthly salary, just normal operations. They have given okay annual salaries they have given. For monthly you can divide with 12 so that you will get monthly salaries. Here 60,000, for month you will get 5,000. So this will be the queries. And distinguish between nested queries and correlated subqueries and join operation. They have given some tables and they're asking about those things. You can just go through these operations. I'll give the link in the description. Video becoming lengthy, so I'm not discussing anything which are not much important. I'm just giving a brief glance about this question. The OLAP and OLTP is kind of thing which generally follows that what we can say, it will follow normalization techniques. If you go with normalization and those things, so sorry, normalization, which is nothing but referring to tables, right, which will reduce the searching, which will make the searching part easier. And when you're dealing with high volume data, you can see these kind of processing techniques which you can be not seen in normal less amount of data. And just go through these questions. I will provide you the link in the description, and let me know if you have any doubts regarding this. So 30 plus questions I have discussed. If you have any doubts regarding this, let me know in the comment section. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.